Shri Prabhupada ki
Do you know which book of the CC you're reading through?
Oh, it's vous parlez d'Amérique? Non, c'est un Est-ce que c'est une édition anglaise? Il y a plein de... C'est en français.
Jaya Jaya Chi Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Chi Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Chi Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Porte-moi le même en anglais. Volume 6. So we're gonna read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, the Lord's attempt to go to Vrindavan. Donc nous allons lire un passage du Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapitre intitulé Le Seigneur essaie d'aller à Vrindavan. A lot of devotees are trying to go to India with mitigated success. So we see that the Lord also had some so-called success in trying to go to Vrindavan. Srila Bhaktivinoda, I gave a nutshell of the chapter is giving first. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of this chapter in his Amrita Prabhava Bhashya. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan, Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya indirectly presented many objections. In due course of time, all the devotees of Bengal visited Jagannath Puri for the third year. This time, all the wives of the Vaishnava brought many types of food, intending to extend invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. When the devotees arrived, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent his blessings in the form of garlands. In that year also, the Gundicha temple was cleansed, and when the Chaturmasya period was over, all the devotees returned to their homes in Bengal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forbade Nityananda to visit Nilachala every year. Questioned by the inhabitants of Kulinagram, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again repeated the symptoms of a Vaishnava. Vidyanidhi also came to Jagannath Puri and saw the festival of Rodana Shasti. When the devotees bade farewell to the Lord was determined to go to Vrindavan, and on the day of Vijay Dashami he departed. Maharaj Prataparudra made various arrangements for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's trip to Vrindavan. When he crossed the river Chitratpala, Ramananda Roy, Mardana Raj, and Harichanda went with him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Ganadhar Pandit to go to Nilachala, Jagannath Puri, but he did not abide by this order. From Kataka, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again requested Gadadhar Pandit to return to Nilachala, and he bade farewell to Ramananda Roy and Bhadraka. After this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu crossed the border of Orissa state, and he arrived at Paniyati by boat. Thereafter, he visited the house of Raghava Pandit, and from there he went to Kumara Hat and eventually to Kuriya, where he excused many offenders. From there he went to Ramakeli, where he saw Shirupa and Sanatan, and accepted them as his chief disciples. Returning from Ramakeli, he met Raghunath Das, and after giving him instruction, sent him back home. Thereafter, the Lord returned to Nilachala and began to make plans to go to Vrindavan without a companion. Text 1. Garodyanam Gora Mega Sinchan Swalokan Mamrite Bhavagni Dagdachanata Viruddha Samadhyavayat. Translation. By the nectar of his personal glance, the cloud known as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu poured water upon the garden of Godadesh and revived the people, who were like creepers and plants burning in the forest fire of material existence. Quelqu'un ne comprend pas l'anglais? Ah. Mon anglais, ça va? Okay. Text number 2. Jaya Jaya Gora Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhaktavrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra. All glories to all the devotees of the Lord. Prabhuranaya Ichayate Vrindavan Shunya Prataparudra Haira Vimana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to go to Vrindavan, and Maharaj Prataparudra became very morose upon hearing this news. Savabhoma Ramananda Hani Duijana Dunhake Kahena Raja Vinaya Vachana. The king therefore called for Savabhoma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Roy and disposed the following submissive words to them. Niladrichadi Prabhura Manahanyatrayaite Tomarakaraha Yatna Tanare Rakite. Prataparudra Maharaj said, please endeavor to keep Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here at Jagannath Puri. For now, he is thinking of going elsewhere. Danya Vinya He Raja Mara Naimaya Oshani Rakite Karaha Nana Hupaya. Without Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this kingdom is not pleasing to me. Therefore, please tried to devise some plan to enable the Lord to stay here. Ramananda Saravadboma Duijanastane Tabe Yukte Kare Prabhu Jaba Vrindavane. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself consulted Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, saying, I shall go to Vrindavan. Dune Kabe Atar Yatra Karak Darashana Kartika Haire Tabe Karinam Gamana. Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested the Lord to observe first the Ratha Yatra festival. Then, when the month of Kartik arrived, he could go to Vrindavan. Kartika Haile Kohe, Hebe Mata Sita, Dola Yatra Deki Yao He Balarita. However, when the month of Kartik came, they both told the Lord, now it is very cold. It is better that you wait to see the Dola Yatra festival and then go. That will be very nice. Aji kari kori hutaya vivida hupaya yaite samatina deva vichedera bhoyo. In this way, they both presented many impediments, indirectly not granting the Lord permission to go to Vrindavan. They did this because they were afraid of separation from him. Yajapi svatantra prabhu nahe nivarana bhakta ishabhina prabhu nakare gamana. Although the Lord is completely independent and incapable of being checked by anyone, he still did not go without the permission of his devotees. Kirti yavatsare sabagodhera bhaktagana nilacharik charite sabbaran hailimana. Then for the third year, all the devotees of Bengal wanted to return again to Jagannath Puri. Sabimeli gela hadvaita hacharya pashe Prabhu dekite hacharya charire hullase. All the Bengali devotees gathered around Advaitacharya, and in great jubilation, Advaitacharya departed to Jagannath Puri to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yajapi Prabhu rahagya gautete raite, Vichalona Prabhu ke prema bhakti prakashite, Tatapi charira Mahaprabhu redekite, Vichalonera prema chesta ke karebuchite. Although the Lord told Nityananda Prabhu to stay in Bengal and spread ecstatic love of God, Nityananda left to go to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who can understand Nityananda Prabhu's ecstatic love? Acharatna Vidyanidhi Srivasaramai Vasudeva Murari Godadi Nyuntinebai Raghava Pandita Nichachari Haja Kurinagrama Vasichare Patadori Lanyam. All the devotees of Navadvip departed, including Acharya Ratna, Vidyanidhi, Srivas, Ramai, Vasudev, Murari, Govinda and his two brothers, and Raghava Pandit, who took bags of assorted foods. The inhabitants of Kuninagram, carrying silken robes, also departed. Kandavasinara Hari Shri Raghunandana Sava Bhaktacharya Tarake Katikadana Narahari and Shri Raghunandana, who were from the village of Kanda, and many other devotees also departed. Who can count them? Shivanandana Sena Kari Gati Samadana Sabare Palana Kari Sukellanyayana. Shivananda Sen, who was in charge of the party, made arrangement to clear the tax, the collecting center. He took care of all the devotees and happily traveled with them. Sabara sarva karya karena deha vasa huttana. Shivananda jane udiya patera sandana. Shivananda Sen took care of all the necessities the devotees required. In particular, he made arrangement for residential quarters and he knew the roads of Orissa. Sevatsara Prabhu Dekite Sabata Kurani Charita Acharya Sange Achyuta Janani. That year also, all the wives of the devotees, the Thakuranis, also went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sita Devi, the mother of Achyutananda, went with Advaita Acharya. Shivasa Pandita Chanje Charila Valini, Shivananda Sanje Chale Tanhara Grihini. Shivas Pandit also took his wife Manini, and the wife of Shivananda Sen also went with her husband. Shivananderat Balaka Nama Chaitanya Dasa Tenyo Chali Yashe Prabhure Dekite Hullasa. Chaitanya Das, the son of Shivananda Sen, also jubilantly accompanied them as they went to see the Lord. Acharatna Sanje Charik Tanhara Grihini Tanhara Premere Kate Kaite Jana Chani. The wives of Chandrasekhar, Acharyatna, also went. I cannot speak of the greatness of Chandrasekhar's love for the Lord. Sabata Kurani Mahaprabhu Ket Vikshat Dite Prabhuranana Priya Dharya Hula Grana Haite. To offer Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu various types of food, all the wives of the great devotees brought from home various things that pleased Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shivananda Senakare Sabha Samadhana Gati Yalla Prabodhi Dena Sabare Basastana. As stated, Shivananda Sen used to make all arrangement for the party's necessities. In particular, he used to pacify the men in charge of levying taxes, and he found resting places for everyone. Bhakshadiya Karina Sabira Sabatra Palani Paramahananda Yana Prabhuracharashani. Shivananda Sen also supplied food to all the devotees and took care of them along the way. In this way, feeling great happiness, he went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. Remunaya Hasiya Kaile Gopinata Darashana Asharya Kariratana Kirtana Nartana. When they all arrived at Remuna, they went to see Lord Gopinath. In the temple there, Advaita Acharya danced and chanted. Nityanandera Parachaya Sabha Sevakasane Bhauta Sammana Asi Kaila Sevakagani. All the priests of the temple had been previously acquainted with Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, they all came to offer great respect to the Lord. Seiratri Sabha Mahanta Tani Raila Barakshirahani Haje Sevakadarila. That night, all the great devotees remained in the temple, and the priests brought 12 pots of condensed milk, which they placed before Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Shira Banti Sabare Dila Prabhu Nityananda, Shira Prashada Panya Sabana Baila Hananda. When the condensed milk was placed before Nityananda Prabhu, he distributed the prashada to everyone, and thus everyone's transcendental bliss increased. Madhava Puri Rakata Gopala Stapana Tanhare Gopala Yaishem Majila Chandana. Then they all discussed the story of Sri Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deity, and they discussed how Gopal begged sandalwood from him. Tanaralaji Gopinata Kshira Churi Kaila Mahaprabhu Ramukhe Haje Ekata Shunila. It was Gopinath who stole condensed milk for the sake of Madhavendra Puri. This incident had been previously related by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Saikata Savaramadi Kahini Chananda, Iniya Vaishnava Mane Badira Hananda. This same narration was again related by Lord Nityananda to all the devotees, and their transcendental bliss increased as they hear the story again. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Mahaprabhu Ramukhe from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are significant because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first heard the story of Madhavendra Puri from his spiritual master, Sripad Ishvara Puri. For this story refer to Madhya Lila, chapter 4, verse 18. After staying at Sri Advaita's house in Shantipur for some time, the Lord narrated the story of Madhavendra Puri to Nityananda Prabhu, Shagaranda Prabhu, Damodar Pandit, and Mukunda Das. When they went to Remuna to the temple of Gopinath, he described Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deities, as well as Gopinath stealing condensed milk. Due to this incident, Lord Gopinath became well known as Shira Chor, the chief who stole condensed milk. Omaganatimindasya Gananchara Sharakara Shachurunditamina Tasmai Shiguramina Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Shtapitamina Mutare Swayaruba Kadamana Bhavati Sapatikam. He Krishna Karina Sindhu Dinamando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantarada Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangira Devi Namaneshwari Vishabhanu Sukta Devi Pranamani Devi Vanchakarpatarubhasha Kripa Sindhu Yevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadha Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we see in all these verses how the Lord is so submissive to his intimate devotees that for outsider it looks like stories of the past or tales or something impossible. Or the Lord can be controlled by anyone. To understand that, only the devotees they can, because their eyes imbued with the balm of the cream of love for the Lord, and because of reciprocation between the Lord and the devotees, the Lord feels in depth toward his intimate devotees, and is happy to develop a mood of dependence upon his devotees. We have seen many examples in the Vedic literature, like Arjuna. Krishna became the chariot driver, a subordinate position to Arjuna just for the sake of making Arjuna victorious in this Kurukshetra's battle. Many examples as well. Naparayanham, this book written from Shivananda Sen, explain how the gopis, they are so unalloyed, so pure in their devotion that the Lord says them, I cannot repay you by your complete devotion unto me. Just be satisfied, keep satisfied in the service that you feel obliged to offer to me. So here, similarly, the King Perpetual Buddha, who is an intimate devotee of the Lord, but also a good diplomat, because he's king, he knows diplomacy. So he approaches the intimate devotees, Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, so that if they find a mean to keep Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here at home in Jagannath Puri. Although they know he is the Supreme Lord, but still they feel they can do something, and it is a fact that they do something. They managed to delay the Lord for quite some time, because we see that the arguments were well found, and the Lord accepted to stay for Ratha Yatra. And here we have a good narration of the big pilgrimage that annually the residents of Navadvip would do to pay a visit to the Lord and take advantage of the monsoon, where generally people don't travel and stay located in one place, because at this time people were traveling by foot on a footpath, and when it's muddy, there is holes, there is water everywhere, it's not so simple. So it was a whole caravanserai, we can say, with so many hundreds of devotees who would gather at the place of Raghava Pandit, Panihata. If you have the opportunity to go to Calcutta, it's just a few kilometers away from the airport. You can pay a visit, or when you arrive, or when you go to the airport, you stay a few hours in Paniyati. The driver won't charge you so many rupees more for staying 1 hour in this temple. You can visit the temple of Raghava Pandit, who was so much celebrated for his cooking. And he and his sister Damayanti, they were expert in cooking items that would last for the whole year till the next Ratha Yatra festival. So it was assumed that there was many things with sugar or salt or pepper or chilies, so that they can be stored for so long. And the Lord would appreciate so much that every day he will chip a little of these offerings and he will eat. It was his daily sadhana to respect the preparation that Raghava Pandit and his sister would send to him. That's why in some purport or verse it is explained that Raghava Pandit and his family were renowned for their bags, because they were wrapped in bags, in bigger bags, and these bags were carried like that up to Jagannath Puri. So we see also Shivananda said would be so liberal. He was a rich person, a landlord with many facilities, and he will use his riches for different things and sponsoring the expenses of the devotee, because it will take 1 whole month for devotees to go from the Navadvip area up to Jagannath Puri. And you have many rivers to cross, many states and towns, and the system, not so far, not so, maybe some 20, 30 years ago, it was like that in India. You would cross some bridge, you had to pay something. Or you cross a village, some guard was there to tax you. Little, everyone was taxed like that. So now it's gone more or less. But you can understand through that at this time there was many tax collectors, and sometimes they were a little tricky, and they wanted to fill up their own pockets as well and overtax the people. So you have to use as well, India, you have to deal, you have to make a bargain with so many people. And here we had to bargain with the tax collector, and Shivananda Sen was expert at this. And not only that, he knew the roads, because some roads were dangerous because of tiger, dacoits, chiefs, or because the river was overflowed, or so many things. India is India, in the countryside. There is always some discrepancies and problem in the railways or the ways. So at this time it was much more, of course, and every time you had to find some solution to locate people, feed them, and know the different tricks on the way. It was a whole big travel, to travel. You know how it is to travel in group. You don't go so easily. You have problem with this sickness, this, that. And Shivananda Sen was the person to make arrangement for all this devotee. It was a huge service. So Nityananda Prabhu was quite in depth towards Shivananda Sen and his family. And there was a few pastimes in between Shivananda Sen and Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu also is playing his role as a Navaduta, and although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forbade him to come every year, this time he chose to transgress this instruction and come anyway. Because the Lord, it's like that. They have some relationship when sometimes Nityananda shows complete submission to Mahaprabhu, and sometimes Nityananda Prabhu shows the role of that he likes to take as a Navaduta. And he doesn't care about opinions of outsider. He is in his Gopa trip, and he displays the mood of the Lord Balaram with his 12 intimate associates. We were Gopas in their past life in Krishna's pastime. So you can imagine all the transcendence permeating from all this group, progressing little by little like that. It's a kind of Padayatra, and we still have some Padayatra, of course, of Lokanath Swami, but also some Padayatra that are accomplished year after year by people, for example, from Pandharpur. It's in Pune and near Bombay, and every year they pay a visit to Lord Vital, and there is such a kind of ceremony like that, a Padayatra, a group of people who gather, they chant the holy name, and they go to have darshan of the Lord and come back. So that would give some pepper to the life of people, and have an opportunity to associate, to be really brother in between themselves, partake humble situation where you depend completely on Krishna on the way, and the different categories of devotees, this advanced, this from this family, low caste, high caste, they become flat, because in these circumstances everyone is striving to maintain good health, good service, good chanting, and try to complete the Padayatra. So this sense of the barrier that is there, that are there in the society of human beings, and sometimes in the Vaishnava society also, when you do this kind of pilgrimage, you really feel like brother, like an army. There is a mood like an army, and you are progressing toward the target. It's very enlivening. So I encourage, maybe we'll have some Padayatra here also, and with some books, prasad, a team of singers, dancer, and go here and there. We've been doing that in 91, 92. It was the Padayatra from Belfast to Moscow, and it went 2 years in North France and South France. It was very ecstatic. So I may stop here. Maybe you may have some commentary or question about this, because we have many things to do in the forest for the next 2 days. And also we have the Gundicha temple mentioned here, where the cleansing of the temple was apparently a big burden, a big thing to do, but when done in a cooperative mood with everyone sharing and being equal in cleaning here and there, it becomes a festival. So similarly also, be it in the forest or the temple or around the temple, when we do this kind of mat cleaning, we can remember the Gundicha Marjan festival, which will be spoken maybe later on. Grantarachi Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Guru Privanandi.